Going on, everyone? Mike Kadlick, Taylor Kyles here for CLNS Media inside Gillette Stadium. Well, outside Gillette Stadium, kind of, right above the field as the Patriots and Bills get ready for a massive game in the AFC East today. Patriots getting ready to try and win their first division title since the 2019 season, Tom Brady's last season here. I feel like we've done this the last 3 or 4 home games, Taylor, but this truly feels like the biggest game we've had here since Tom Brady left this team. So what we're going to do here is look at the inactives report from the Patriots today and then preview this one a little bit here. Shout out, as always, to our friends over at Prize Picks for sponsoring this one. Let's get right to the inactives since it was an 11:30 drop, Taylor, and we have linebacker Braden Swinson, offensive tackle Marcus Bryant, defensive tackle Eric Gregory, tight end C.J. Dupree, wide receiver Efton Chisholm, and then quarterback Tommy DeVito as the emergency third signal caller. So no real surprises there. Heading into Sunday, the injury report had Terrell Jennings out with a concussion. He's since been placed on injured reserve. And then Robert Spillane was questionable with a foot injury, but he is now good to go. So your main thought/theme seeing this seeing this inactive report, obviously the trench is good to go here. But what's your main takeaway heading into this one with the inactives?
It is the reinforcement in the trenches. You're getting Jared Wilson back after he suffered a high ankle sprain and came back sooner than I think any of us really expected
100%.
him to. So no more Ben Brown in the lineup, but maybe now you can use him as an eligible tight end. He looked really good in that role when the Patriots were healthier on the offensive line. So there's a little wrinkle we can see from the Patriots offense. Defensively, we know that stopping the run is going to be the most important thing so you can force the passing game for the Bills to play with one hand tied behind their back. Now, when you got Josh Allen, a magician of his caliber, that's still going to be tricky, but the fact that you do have Kyrus Tonga, Harold Landry is going to be healthy.
Yeah.
Of course, Robert Spillane, who did enter as questionable with the foot injury, he should be good to go. And the fact that Eric Gregory is inactive tells me that Joshua Farmer probably had himself a good week of practice, and they're feeling good about the depth they have on that interior because, as we know, Eric Gregory's had to step up quite a few times in recent weeks, specifically as a nose tackle against the run. So more Kyrus Tonga. We'll see how much of Harold Landry we actually get in this one. Maybe we see more of Elijah Ponder. Also had a role the last time they played the Bills. His athleticism is going to be key in this one, but really nice to see that the Patriots are going to have a little bit more depth in the trenches because that was really what worried me most heading into this one earlier in the week.
Staying on the injury front here for just a second, mentioned a few seconds ago that Terrell Jennings, out with the concussion, has been since placed on injured reserve. Dearness Johnson signed to the 53-man roster ahead of this one. One of your keys to the game was getting the run game going for the Patriots. Obviously, it's snowing, so you want to try and kind of maybe grind this one out, although we do think Drake could also have a solid game through the air, given that cornerback Christian Benford is out for the Bills. But I want to stick on the run game for a second here. Ramondre Stevenson healthy, Travion Henderson healthy, and then Dearness Johnson as the third running back. How do you see them spacing out those carries for those guys? And is Johnson going to be a factor on offense, or is that more of a special team / emergency thing?
I think special teams emergency.
Yeah.
Now, if they have a lead late in the game, I'm sure we could see some Dearness Johnson carries like we've seen for Terrell Jennings when he started getting involved in this offense. Obviously took on a little bit of a bigger role since then. But I do think you're going to want to have it about 50-50, Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson. I think they're going into games that both guys are healthy, with that being the idea, because you do want Ramondre Stevenson being able to punch the defense in the mouth and do what he does with some sprinkles of outside carries. And then you want Travion Henderson and his home run potential on the perimeter, especially. We know they tried to get the outside run game going the last time these teams faced off. They had some success on some toss plays, specifically off of fake power action. Look for that kind of misdirection today. But I do think they're going to want to keep it about even. Don't expect to see too much of Dearness Johnson outside of special teams.
Keeping it on the offensive side of the football here, Drake May still looking for that 300-yard game. We talked about it ad nauseum here on Patriots Daily. Christian Benford, Buffalo's best cornerback, out with, was it a foot injury?
Foot injury.
Injured his foot in practice.
The toe
this
specifically.
Week.
Toe. Yep.
Okay, so we know that
it's on the foot, so we weren't wrong.
It is on the foot.
Biology.
Turf toe feels like could be the case there. As we know this season, not an easy one to come back from. We see a bunch of quarterbacks, Joe Burrow and Brock Purdy, among them, have to take some time off with those toe injuries. But Benford not in this one. Can the Patriots attack this team even in the inclement weather? I know it's not too bad right now, but how do you see Drake May, the passing offense, happening against this Bills secondary that might not want to play as much man now that their best cornerback's out?
I thought the Patriots pass game had a pretty big advantage coming into this one with Christian Benford. Now, obviously, once you realize he was hurt, it kind of helped those little prognostications even more. But I've been saying I think the Patriots should win this game by probably 2 possessions. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to blow them out, but I do think that with what the Patriots have as an advantage on both sides of the ball in the passing game, sure, I think the ground defense and the ground offense, probably not quite the same advantages, but you can throw on this Buffalo team. Now, the safeties, Cole Bishop is talented, but he's not a world beater. Jordan Poyer's getting up there in age, and now you're going to have Trey White and Maxwell Hairston on the outside at cornerback. Those guys were rotating series before the injury, so you don't really want to have those guys out at the same time if you're the Bills, and I think it's going to create some opportunities for Drake May to take the top off. Now, at the same time, the Bills do not want to get beat by the deep ball, so they may sell out even more to make sure that can't happen and play a little bit more conservative. But if they do that, it should open up the intermediate part of the field, or even some space underneath for Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson to make some yards after the catch. So I don't want to say I'm surprised, but given there's not really anybody on this Buffalo defense other than maybe Joey Bosa when he's on that really scares you, I don't see much of a reason that the Patriots shouldn't, or Drake May specifically, shouldn't have his first 300-yard game. But this might be the fifth time I'm saying that, so I don't know if it's a reverse jinx. I'm going to reverse jinx it, actually. I think the Patriots pass game is going to have a great day, but I think Drake is going to have 299 passing yards and be just short. Reverse jinx.
Yeah, there we go. So Jared Wilson, you talked about a little bit. He is finally back. Not even finally. I shouldn't say it like that. He basically came back as a superhero, given the injury that he had with the ankle. He will now play today, start at left guard. Vadarian Lowe still at the left tackle position with Will Campbell for a little while. You mentioned Joey Bosa there. Can they hold up against this Buffalo pass rush? Do you think they're going to struggle there? Do you think that involves getting the ball out quick, or are they going to be able to attack downfield against these guys?
You should be able to do whatever the hell you want, to be honest. Right. Now, again, Joey Bosa is someone you need to be mindful of and respect his ability, especially when it comes to protecting the football, because if the Patriots want to have the game we think they should, it's going to involve ball security. Obviously, Ramondre Stevenson fumbled early in the last game, and I feel like it took a lot of the momentum from them early on. So as long as you don't let Joey Bosa wreck the game, which they did a pretty solid job of last time, I don't really think you need to be too mindful of this Buffalo Bills pass rush. If they want to blitz and they want to heat you up, Drake May and this offensive line and offense overall have done a really good job getting the ball out. Like, Drake's rarely ever even hit when teams do blitz. Now, not impenetrable, not invulnerable. There have been some times where free rushers have gotten home, so maybe that challenges the Patriots pass protection, but I'm assuming this is going to be a game where Drake can kind of do whatever the hell he wants.
Want to get to one of your final game keys here, which is stopping Josh Allen. Want to talk about that Buffalo offense and how the Patriots can try and keep them at bay here in just a second. But first, I got to tell you guys about our friends over at Prize Picks, because as you know, this episode and every episode of the Patriots Daily Podcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. It's the holiday season. It's snowing here in Foxborough, and it is the best time of year for sports, whether it's bowl games, basketball, playoff pushes, and more. There is one place where it's good to be right, and that is on Prize Picks. Have a new feature at Prize Picks. It's early payout, so if your lineup gets off to a hot start, you may now have the option to cash in and take those winnings before the game even finishes. Big one here, as we know, at Gillette Stadium, Patriots versus Bills. We have picks galore all over the Patriots Press Pass channel from all of our personalities here. I'll have a lineup coming up in a few minutes, so make sure to check that out. But if you want to get in on the action with us, just download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that's code CLNS, and you will get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. I will spoil one of my prize picks coming up in my video in a little while. It is the James Cook more rushing yards. I believe he's listed at 81.5 right now. He's obviously outside of Josh Allen. He's the guy they want to run their offense through. They're giving the ball all the time. He's the second leading rusher in the league right now, behind only Jonathan Taylor. So he is one of these bell cows in the NFL. Patriots defense having Robert Spillane healthy is obviously good. Kyrus Tonga there in the middle to help defend against the run as well. Is this going to be a challenge for them today? I know they were one of the better run defenses throughout the first couple months here in the league, and then they're sort of let up with the last couple weeks. So do you think how do you think this matches up against James Cook today?
Well, when I spoke to Mike Smith a couple of weeks ago, outside linebackers coach, about the run defense not playing up to the standard that they had set through the first 8 games of the season, he pointed out that, yes, the technique does need to improve, and I think that's pretty obvious given how many more yards before contact they've allowed recently. Yeah. But he also pointed out that they played some lighter boxes with 2 high safeties to try to protect against some of these more downfield throwers, like against the Bengals. Obviously, you're not terrified of Joe Flacco, but you do have to respect T. Higgins, and obviously going into that game, they had to plan for the possibility of Jamar Chase as well. Totally. So I think this is a game where you have no excuses. You need to stack the box and prioritize stopping the run. Again, he got Kyrus Tonga back. Joshua Farmer, if he's playing, he's had some really nice flashes this season, been a bit more quiet in recent weeks, so hopefully he can turn it back on. So no excuses. I do think it's going to be a challenge because the Bills have Spencer Brown back, their right tackle. That's a huge get for them. And this is a good offensive line, but they are predictable. When you look at their alignments, you can pretty much tell what they're going to run. It's either going to be wide zone or it's going to be some type of duo. So use that predictability to your advantage and get aggressive. Don't just be on your back foot and let them do what they want.
Lastly, and certainly not least, it's Josh Allen. I heard you on your radio hit this morning on 98.5 The Sports Hub talking about how it is okay to be afraid of Josh Allen. One of the best quarterbacks in the game. We know he can play in structure. He can play out of structure. Mike Vrabel spoke about that a little bit this week and how they can't just try and contain him and kind of let him do his thing because he'll run around and then shoot one down the field for a touchdown. Right. So not a great Bills wide receiver core coming into this one. We know Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir have kind of struggled a bit not so much struggled, but it's just not one of the great units. So you look at this, how Josh Allen has played so far this season with those guys, and you now have Christian Gonzalez playing, up to snuff, Marcus Jones, all those guys. How do they match up against Allen? Can they contain him? Is that the number one thing that they need to worry about here, or is it James Cook?
I think James Cook is where you start, because if you force them to be predictable, I think that's where this Buffalo Bills passing attack can really start to deteriorate. Now, when we spoke to Anthony Prohaska in our preview, he mentioned that it would be very smart to blitz early. So one, you test the Bills' pass protection that's had some deficiencies when they are faced with the blitz and certain schemed pressures where they don't necessarily pick up who they should. And also, you want to get in Josh Allen's head as quickly as you can so that as the game progresses, he doesn't have maybe the confidence that he might have early if you just let him sit back there. And my biggest thing looking at the last game was how often Josh Allen was throwing from clean pockets. No disruption, able to pick this defense apart. That's why I think you need to blitz. One, obviously, to speed up that internal clock and get the ball out quickly, but also to restrict run lanes, because if you're just rushing 4 or 3, that's a lot of room for Josh Allen to run, but also just work the pocket and try to let guys uncover. If you are able to blitz by sending 5, that's one fewer gap that he has, and you're able to constrict the pocket versus letting him just sit comfy back there. So an aggressive approach, I think, is going to be key in this game, and it sounded like that's the idea that Mike Vrabel and the Patriots have coming into it.
2-score game, is that the final prediction for you?
I think so. I think this team wins, I'll say 9 points. I think the Patriots win by 9.
Okay, I wrote it up for SI earlier, a couple bold predictions. We have Patriots 30, Bills 17 in mind.
Oh, okay, let's go.
Well, I'm on it. It's too good right now. The snow's coming down. We're in Foxborough. Getting here was a pain in the ass because traffic stinks around here, but that's the good thing, because that means the New England Patriots are just about back. So make sure you keep it here. We will be on the field live for Patriots postgame, win or lose. John Zanis, Greg Bedard joining us as well. So lock in here on Patriots Press Pass, rate, review, and subscribe. Patriots welcome the Bills here for a chance to win the AFC East. You don't want to miss it. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it as always. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we will see you